Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to offer up some tips and tricks for maximizing lockdown and doing a better job than what you probably did last time. Now, if you're an athlete, you're probably as far away from a competition as you're ever going to be. And if you're just an everyday person, chances are you're probably furloughed or unable to work. So that then gives us the opportunity to tackle something that we perhaps never had the chance to do. So whether it's that we don't have anything competing for our time from an athletic perspective because there's no competitions, or whether it's that we've now got an abundance of time and we've always made the excuse that we didn't have enough time. So me personally, some training goals that I've never quite taken care of are my left to right shoulder mobility, and also strengths versus left side versus right side. So my goals are going to be attached to things that I'm going to have to complete in order to achieve them. So for example, even though my goal is to be able to improve my mobility, so my left side and right side are the same, mobility for mobility's sake is pretty boring. Whereas, for example, trainees get stronger, now you've got my attention. So is there any way that I can find a link between those two? So for me, my goals for the next block, or at least as long as we're in lockdown for, is to single arm overhead press half my body weight, and a 36 kilo kettlebell is on its way, to perform a back lever. And to be honest, a one arm chin up would be pretty cool just because I've got a one arm pushing goal, so a one arm pulling goal makes a lot of sense as well. Now today I have tested my single arm press left side versus right side in a half kneeling position with what equipment I've got available, and managed 20 kilos on a barbell on my right side and for 5 reps, and only managed it for 1 rep on my left hand side. So I've spoken to a few coaches about their opinion, but the single arm chin up and the progression towards pressing half body weight is going to mean that I'm forced to tackle these issues, and I'm going to learn a lot in the process. It might be a limitation in strength, it might be because there's more muscle mass on my right hand side, and for example with a couple of broken thumbs that I never really properly addressed the rehab, it might be that there's a mobility and stability restriction. Either way, I'm going to learn something from this process. Even if you're not sure about, for example, writing yourself a program, if you've got a little bit of knowledge, then go for it. What I would say is your first week is going to allow you to learn more, having written it yourself, than what, for example, just buying a random program off the internet is going to do. The reason why I say this is because chances are, unless you're on something like danjohnuniversity.com, then you're not going to be able to, this online program isn't going to account for what you've got available. However, if you are making notes on that first week of training, you're going to know whether it's too much, too little, whether your body agrees with it, and logistically whether it's even possible. So today I had my equipment packed to do a ring strength session at the park at 6:30 in the morning. I'll be honest, stuff was packed, good intentions, didn't happen. But what that meant was after a day of coaching, I could just grab the bag and go. So in one respect I failed, in another respect I gave myself the best chance to succeed. And if we're talking about the best chance to succeed, if it's a new habit you're trying to drill down, firstly, make it so easy you can't possibly say no to it. Now it's much easier for me to say yes to going to the park to train on the rings when the bag's already packed waiting for me to leave. It would have been a lot harder if, for example, I didn't have the program written, if I didn't have my stuff packed, and if I hadn't got some form of accountability in the sense of telling a few coaches what I intended to do with this block. So find yourself some form of accountability, whether it's, for example, paying someone if you don't go through with a goal, or just someone to keep nagging you. So use other people's free will. Make the goal so small that it's impossible to say no to. So can you start something in 5 minutes or less, and attach something you need to do with something you would want to do or like to do. So for example, I need to try and mitigate my left to right shoulder imbalance, and that's not really motivating itself. But what I want to do is something like a single arm press with half my body weight on both sides and a one arm chin up. But in order to achieve those, I will need to address the differences between my left and right shoulder in order to get towards that. If you found these useful, then let me know. If you need someone to write you a program, then drop me a message. Equally, if you don't know how to write your own program, find something that you can start in 5 minutes or less. Make it as simple as possible. Build a new habit before you try and refine it.